All right, YouTube. I'm in Philly in our junky guest bedroom. I've decided that over Christmas and probably the first week into the new year that I'm going to finally get this room in order. I haven't been able to do so because I've been in New York City 90% of the time. So this video is something that has nothing to do with hair. And if you don't want to watch something that doesn't have something to do with hair, you probably want to stop right now. But I'm filming this video because it's as much for myself as it is for whoever watches this and gets something out of it. And I wanted to record it now because of the mental space that I'm in right now, because there's a lot of things moving and shifting and aligning. I am referencing some notes on my iPad because I want to make sure that I touch on everything that I want to touch on here. So this video is about manifesting desire in your life. And I wanted to share this because there have been some really fortuitous circumstances, blessings that I've had over the last year and a half that have just been kind of crazy. So some background on me. I was in corporate America for 10 years. I worked for GE for 10 years. I was a GE lifer, as it were, GE meaning General Electric. I interned there, I co-opted there, I went through leadership program there, took off-program roles there, and was moving through the ranks. But I always had this nagging desire in my heart to have my own business and work for myself. And so I was going to a Beyonce concert with my friend Stacy, and Stacy is like, what does Stacy wear now? She's like a size 8 or so. And we went to the concert. She was all dressed to the nines, had on her cute top, her leggings, everything. And I was looking like Frumpalump. And we went to the concert. We had a blast. We've gone to 3 Beyonce concerts together. And when I came back to work, I told Stacy, I was like, I have this idea. I'm gonna open up this boutique that specializes in plus size contemporary. We're gonna carry designers from all around the world, and it's gonna be the best thing since sliced bread. Milwaukee will have never had anything like this before. Milwaukee is my hometown. I am repping Milwaukee today. So she was like, wow, you really gonna do this? I'm like, this is after I've been in corporate America for 10 years, right? I came home, told my husband, Sam, I'm leaving my job. I'm starting this business from the ground up. And he said to me, I love it. Do it. And first of all, thank God for having a spouse that was supportive, because I know everybody's husband would not have been the same way, but he is as much of a dreamer as I am. And so he was behind me. It was awesome. However, I wasn't making as much money as I wanted to. I mean, we got to the point where we were doing some really big volume numbers in terms of sales, but when it comes down to take-home income, that's a whole different ball of wax. So I decided that I wanted to get back into corporate again, and I got back into corporate for 2 reasons. 1, because I wanted to buy things, and 2, because I wanted to go places. I'm a person that loves traveling. I love exploring the world. I hate flying, but I love being different places. So I started networking with people, trying to figure out where I can get a role to get back in again, because by trade, by study, by degree, I am a person that specializes in information systems and operations management, IT. And I've started networking. So I reached out to people, talked to them about, trying to get back into the whole corporate swing of things. And I started working at an insurance company. It was a company that's been around for, I think, almost 160 years, if not more. And I started working on their infrastructure project management team. At the same time, my husband got a new job as well, working in New Jersey. He's in New Jersey I'm in Milwaukee. Sam is, he's definitely somebody that's a go-getter, and it was a awesome job for him and moving him up the food chain even further. And so I was like, go get the job, go get that paper, and I'll, somehow I'll figure some way to get out there to you. So we were like, okay, let's do this. In the 160 some odd years that this company has been around, they've only gone through 3 acquisitions. And one of those 3 was about 5 or 6 months after I joined the company. And my boss said to me, we need somebody to go work in New York, Manhattan proper, Union Square, as a integration project manager. And I thought of you. It's crazy. I've only been with this company for like 5-6 months. Interviewed, got the job, moved to New York. It was awesome. They paid for my housing, which if you are a New Yorker or familiar with a real estate situation there, the rent is stupid expensive. They paid for my apartment. They paid for all of my transportation, and they paid for all of my meals for 6 months. And while it got me closer to Philly and closer to where my husband was living, it wasn't there where my husband was. So I would see him on the weekends or every other weekend and take the train to go to Philly, or he would take the train to come see me in New York. But as saved folks say, God started to deal with me, okay? I had this job where I had all of these awesome benefits, but there was this kind of churning dissatisfaction for me. And it partially had to do with not being in the same neighborhood, same home, I should say, where my husband was, but it also had to deal with me not doing a job where I felt fulfilled in what it was that I was doing. And I kind of went into like a low-key depression for a couple of months. My friends that are close to me, they knew, like, I was just going through. I was not happy. I was not fulfilled. I was not, I just wasn't in a good space, and it was because of the work that I was doing. I was so disconnected from it. And so I started doing some soul searching, and I decided to take a couple months off of social media to get my head together and figure out what it is that I want. And this is kind of where the whole manifesting desire piece comes together. And I'm going to reference my notes here. So when I took my 2-month social media break, I wasn't on Facebook, I wasn't on Insta. I would still upload videos on YouTube from time to time. I decided that I needed to kind of put a pause on all the things that were distracting me from aligning myself with what it was that I really wanted for myself professionally. And I would pray in the morning, I would meditate in the morning, and I was listening to a guided meditation from Oprah and Deepak Chopra about manifesting your desires. And there were some notes that I captured from there that were so pivotal for me that I wanted to share with you all, because I feel like it really had everything to do with me getting to where I am right now. When you are trying to manifest your desires and you're trying to align yourself with something that is of great desire to you, there are some things that you need to do. One, you want to make sure that you are nourishing your mind. You want to make sure that you are not populating your mind with things that are not going to be of use to you to try to get to the point to where you are. So for me, nourishing my mind meant cutting myself off from social media because it was such a distraction and such a waste of time that did nothing for me. Number 2, having a clear intention. I spent my time off working on pulling together a 1-pager at the advice of my husband. He said to me, I think that you need to write a 1-pager on what it is that your ideal job looks like. And so I did that. I wrote, it started off with like 3 pages, and I kept boiling it down and boiling it down. And I was writing about all the roles and responsibilities of the job that I would have and the industries in which that job would be. 3, don't muddy your intention with compromises and excuses for why it cannot come true. So a lot of us are so good at talking ourselves out of things before they even happen. And I needed to make sure that I was in a space where I believed in infinite possibility, like that anything that I wanted could come to fruition, because there were so many. I mean, I couldn't even begin to list all the things that have happened over my life that have just been things just aligning, that there are forces around you that are working, that are always aligning for your good. So making sure that you don't muddy those intentions with compromises. 4, having positive emotions around your desire and feel how good it will be to fulfill it. So that positive affirmation and thinking. There was a positive affirmation app that I downloaded. The app is called Think Up. And it has like positive affirmations that they have scripts you can read, but you can record your own saying whatever it is that you want. And I think it's very valuable to have affirmations that you are hearing back in your own words, in your voice, because that's going to resonate with you, because your voice is the voice that you hear all the time. Number 5, believe what you want is good for you without negative compromises to those around you. So knowing that what you want is pure and it comes from a pure place, recognizing that is key. Number 6, be prepared for any response that the universe may bring and be flexible around what the universe may bring. So everything doesn't always come exactly the way that you identify it being. And I had no idea when I said to my husband, go ahead and take that job and I'll figure some way to get out there, that things would shake out the way they would, that I get a new assignment that would move me to New York City and have that experience and, you know, all the perks that came along with it. And nor did I know that being in that role would shake things up for me and say, this is not the right thing for you to be doing. So being open to what the universe may bring and being flexible around that. And number 7, having the confidence that hidden forces come to your aid once your desire is released to the universe. You have to know that things are working for your good. And the one thing that wasn't on Deepak's list that is on my list always is I think it's a verse, I don't know which verse it is from the Bible, that faith without works is dead. If you aren't going to put in your effort, if you aren't going to put in the time and the work on your part to figure out what exactly it is that you want and do everything possible to get there, so that whatever it is that you believe, your universe, positive forces, God, I am a Christian, so God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, all of that is aligning me with what it is that I want. You know, you can't expect to get something if you're not putting in your own work, time, and effort. And I do believe that God honors our work that we do. So yeah, faith without works, dead. So what did I do? I put together my one pager. I started pounding the pavement virtually. I was working my network on LinkedIn. Thankfully, being in corporate America, I know a lot of people in a lot of different places. Sometimes I was reaching out to companies of people that I knew who worked there. Sometimes I was cold emailing people that never had met me before, but I was like, this job looks really good and here's why you should consider me. And, you know, of course, having a proper presentation for all of that. And I started falling into a trap. So I was putting out there into the universe that I wanted to find a job that was going to allow me to be back with my husband again. And I was interviewing for like insurance companies and healthcare companies, and it felt all wrong to me. It was all wrong, and I knew in my core it was wrong. And I was telling Sam, I was just like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna move forward with these interviews, but I just don't feel conviction about this work because I really wanted to do what I think is a dream for everybody to do, is to find a job that combines two things. You know, you think about a Venn diagram. You know, you have Venn diagrams and the circles overlap and you want that sweet spot right in the middle there. My skills as a project manager are what I have. My passion is for apparel and fashion, and I wanted to overlap those two things together. And at the top of my one pager, I had all my industries listed that I wanted to work for, and fashion was at the top of it. And then eventually I took it off of my paper because I started doubting. I was doubting that I could make the career switch that I wanted in the city I wanted, in the industry that I wanted, and with the skill set that I wanted. I just felt like I was asking for way too much. And I took it off my paper, and then Sam was looking at the one pager and he was like, "Where is apparel on here?" And I was like, "Oh, I took it off because, you know, I didn't know." And he's like, "No, you need to put that back on there." So I put it back on there. I had a recruiter that I had connected with through a cold email. I was just like, oh man, I could do this, man. Like, this is, I don't want to like get into all the details of it, right? But this is a job that I felt with every core of my being that I could kill at, that I'd be able to do really well, that I think my experiences that I have as an experienced project manager, as an experienced system implementer, as an experienced shop owner, specifically in the apparel industry, especially in the specialty market of the apparel industry, that I just thought that all those things would lend well to this role. So a week later, I impatiently waited, and I say impatient because patience is a huge issue for me. And they called me and they wanted me to come interview right away. And in the midst of the interviewing, I decided to step out on faith and just put in my notice at my current job. I was like, I can't anymore. I just knew it was a wrong fit for me. It was coming up on the time to renew the lease for my apartment in New York, and my boss was like, "Yeah, so I'm assuming you want to stay in New York. We need to renew your lease." And I was like, not so much. But let me tell you how good God is. So I put in my notice at my job. What does my job do? They offered me 2 more jobs. And then the office that I was working in, Satellite, they offered me an opportunity to interview for another job. So I'm trying to quit and people trying to offer me jobs. But I knew that it wasn't the thing that I was supposed to be doing. I just knew that it wasn't right. And so I politely declined. And I stepped out on faith that I knew something was going to pan out for me because I was following, you know, those different 7 steps for manifesting your desires. Now, I didn't realize it when I did it, right? My mentor, who I loved dearly, she's like a second mom to me. She was like, "Well, good for you for finally stepping out on faith." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Well, you ain't have a job when you put in your notice, did you?" I was like, "No, I was still in the midst of interviewing. I was interviewing for the job I really wanted, and I was interviewing for a job that I didn't want, but the pay was like ridiculous, okay?" Then I got the offer. So not only did I get the job with the skills that I have, that they appreciated my history being an entrepreneur and having corporate experience combined together. It is 15-20 minutes away from my apartment in Philly, and it's in the space that I love, which is fashion. All of the above. Checked all of the boxes. And I'm going to keep it all the way funky, all the way real, because what is this? Number 6, being prepared for any response the universe may bring and being flexible around what the universe may bring. Did it pay exactly what I wanted? No, it did not. But I found other ways to negotiate to get other benefits that were of importance to me, because the thing that I learned in the job that I was in before was that money is not everything, y'all. So real about it. And I thought coming out of having my shop and, not being able to be as financially flexible and fluid as I'd like to be, that if I was getting paid, that I was going to be super straight, like I can take a job that I don't like as long as the money is right. Boo-boo. That is not true. Well, let me put the asterisk next to it. It's not true for me. Okay. So yeah, the money was not exactly what I wanted, but it was good money and it was sufficient for me and my circumstances and everything that I need from my family. And so I said yes to the offer because it gave me everything I was looking for. So now I am enjoying 2 weeks of paid time off with my current employer, and I'm gonna be going to vacation with Bay, and I'm gonna start a new job. I share all this to say it is possible to have the desires of your heart. It's 100% possible. You gotta just follow those 7 steps, man. And I'm not saying it's like prescriptive, like you have to do all 7 every time, but I believe that all 7 work together. And you gotta put in your work. You gotta do your work, your job, and believe that it is possible for these things to come together. So again, I share this video because I know I'm gonna need to go back and watch it for myself, but I share it because I hope whoever watches this, you may get something out of it too. So I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.